So it is 6:18 in the morning. Um, you know, 'cause usually I just end up waking up at a random time. Looked at my phone, got a lot of notifications from my last video talking about the content creators and on what is happening lately with people like Kris Tyson, people in regards to Doctor Disrespect, Cody Co. Excuse me, talking about people like Sneeko, and I've gotten very nice words. I got very nice comments on the video, very cool words of encouragement. I really do appreciate that from you guys. I think that's absolutely amazing of you guys. That very nice of you guys, and I got nice group of people subscribing. I do appreciate that. But this is but I'm doing these videos because it's not about the subscriptions, it's not about the views or the comments. It's more about you know my obligation on things like being a content creator, and just want to let people know where my position is on certain things like that. um Especially being a content creator, I feel like it is my responsibility to be like, yay, you know what, this is wrong, this is that, because stuff like this paints content creators in very bad lights, and that's exactly why it's like hard for me to understand, or just really hard for me to ignore, because of the fact that content creation should not just be about having fun and providing good content for people, but interacting with people in a proper manner and interacting people with people who support you. So we already know the Kris Tyson situation. um I think we have had a actual area where we've seen what happened, where Kris Tyson actually was accused of inappropriate, I would say misconduct with a minor. But apparently there has been a statement from their Twitter, and I'm going to try to zoom in as much as I can. So I'm going to read this. So I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent it was not my intent. Seeing recent events were mutually decided, it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. I want to add, I never groomed anyone. A person who gets brought up in these accusations, Lava GS, has vocally supported that they are false. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I hurt with my unacceptable social media posts, past actions, and to those who may feel betrayed, but by how I use, excuse me, by how I used to act online. To lump those two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. In past years, I have learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. Uh, I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at Mr. Beast, which is why I stepped away. Now, here's my thing about this. Now, if I go back a little bit. Now, this is my opinion on this specifically, and freaking Invader V got banned for like the 10th time. I don't understand what's up with the lady, but she's still out. Um, so I don't think people are bothered by edgy jokes. Um, when you see things pop up from your past stating that you've done things like say the N word, um, I think people are gonna rip into you if you have done things, um, like for instance, and like done anything that has been in the past, um, like taking a point to where you have literally been found on the internet and you've done the negative, you should be held accountable. Things like racial terms, um, sexist terms, you know, terms that lead to bullying a community. It should be something that you should be held accountable for. Um, can you apologize and try to redeem yourself? Of course. But when it comes to this type of situation with edgy jokes, um, I know some people who do very dark jokes and very edgy jokes, to a certain extent where it's like, uh, we joke on each other and we're cool with it. Um, but in certain platforms, especially with stuff like that, um, it's not. Excuse me, as I said, it's early in the morning. It's not acceptable because a platform can literally take you off or stop endorsing you or stop paying you for those jokes. Now, my issue with with the edgy jokes is that I can understand if a comedian does it. Like when people who does jokes that are edgy are comedians. I could give a pass for a comedian because his job is to be funny. But it is to a point where if you are on a platform like that, doing jokes like that is very, very, very a double-edged sword. Some people can go to a point where you can laugh at it. Some people can go ahead and feel offended by it. It's what's happening. Now, here's another thing. There has been messages from the person who had that interaction with this individual, um who had interaction with Kris Tyson. And so she got to a point where the actual interaction with this minor actually got to a point where it was so it led to a meetup, but then it led with friends and family being there, and that said person's parents being there as well. So it was somewhat of like a mutual agreement to so. Now, when you do something like that, it goes to a point where it's different from setting up a meet and greet with fans and everything on a cool point at the mall. Like, if I were to say I get people who are fans of my channel, right? Like, oh, I'm establishing a meet and greet at this mall, or I'm establishing a meet and greet at this cool restaurant, a Dave and Buster's. You get a whole group of people working to like from the community establishing like for an event. Okay. But when you are privately messaging someone who is a minor establishing a get together, it gets really, really weird. Um I could understand if it's like a 21-year-old who is an adult, or who is a consenting adult, or like even someone like who is 30, and you are a content creator who is the same age, and I could understand with consenting adults. But even with consenting adults, when you're meeting someone even that is a, I would say, like celebrity, a regular person, even for things like online dating, or from someone like on a social media platform or a influencer, stuff like that should have a major caution sign or a major red flag right near it, because those things can lead to dangerous situations. Um, with this, where it was private messages, it is very, very off. It is very, very inappropriate. Stuff like that is not good. Stuff like that is not okay. Um, Things like that should lead to, you know, to people being, held accountable for that negative. You see, I don't understand where people get to do stuff like that. You know, it's just weird for me. It's just like, that's something that you should not do. Because I said, stuff like this could happen. Stuff like this can lead to you being in trouble. Stuff like this can lead to you, you know, being, painted in the wrong light. But my issue with it, as I specifically, is just like, stuff like this is very inappropriate. Now, I just don't understand how stuff like this could happen. I see a lot of tweets from other people being upset with Dr. Disrespect, but I don't understand why people are not upset with this type of reaction. Like, I would like, if people were actually upset and were like, "Oh, you know what? Hey, you did this wrong." Um or they give backlash to Kris Tyson on this, I would completely understand. Like I would understand why they would be upset with Kris Tyson and her choices. Um my thing is, if you are seeing stuff like from Kris Tyson, from people like Sneeko, Dr. Disrespect, Cody Co, and other people, like even if it comes to things like P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and other like big individuals, you have to hold them to the same light, and you have to go ahead and hold them responsible in the same way. It doesn't matter of their status. It's very, very weird that people don't. It's very, very weird that people get upset about it. It's very, very weird that people are like, "Oh, you know what? Why would we hold this and that? It's consenting." No, no, it's the idea of what the person had in mind in the first place. Um, Anybody should be held accountable, regardless of the community. Because I think a lot of people in the influencer spot don't do it because they don't want to be, they don't want to get the backlash from the community that, like, people like Kris Tyson is in, like, which is in the trans community or the LGBTQ plus community. But I don't think it has to do with the community. I think it has to do with more of keeping the individual responsible. Now, as I said, for me specifically, I just think, a lot of people need to start opening up about the situation and hold people like Kris Tyson responsible, hold people like Dr. Disrespect responsible, because everybody was all on Dr. Disrespect, myself included, but some of them are very, very quiet when it comes to Kris Tyson. So, as I said, as a content creator, it's very weird for me, and I think other content creators need to go ahead and start talking about it, and they need to understand that, hey, yo, we have to hold all content creators responsible when it comes to this situation, and actually, get to a point where, you know, content creators should not do stuff like this and should be way better than what they are. Just straightforward.